Here in Asheville, North Carolina, the final game of quarterfinal Saturday, a 3-6 matchup. Uncg and Chattanooga, they met just a week ago on the Mocs home floor. Now the Chattanooga team trying to pull our second upset of the night and third of the day here at the Southern Conference Tournament. Our bracket looks like this. Number 1 seed ETSU. They took the opener against VMI. They get set to take on Western Carolina, upsetting Mercer in seed only. Two balanced teams played to a 70-56 final. And then moments ago, the Wofford Terriers, who struggled mightily in February, they have bounced back in March. A second straight win here in Asheville. They advance past their rival Furman and get the winner of this game. And hi, friends, and welcome back in with Dean Keener, Pete Hannity with you. So going into last Saturday, all the teams in the Southern Conference knew what their matchup was for the tournament. And here we are for the second time this weekend. Sanford and VMI was the first such match, that you have a couple of teams playing their second straight game against each other.
Yeah, kind of a quirk, if you will, but throw all that aside. It is now tournament time, one and done. The Spartans had won 6 in a row before losing their final 2 regular seasons, so they're looking to bounce back. But this is a program that's won over 109 games the last 4 years. They're facing a Chattanooga program that is a proud program with tradition as well, and Lamont Paris has them back.
He has really done a nice job turning things around in year number 3, and one of those who's been a big boost this season, Matt Ryan, the one-year player for them, started his career at Notre Dame, then to Vanderbilt, and now in Chattanooga.
Yeah, he is a tough matchup because he can beat you inside and outside. Great numbers across the board. He's the Mocs leading scorer. He's also become their leader of sort, second team all-season selection. For the Spartans, well, it doesn't end, but it starts with Isaiah Miller, right? He was the player of the year by the media and the coaches. He was also the defensive player of the year as he led the league in steals with 83. 12 games with 20 or more points, most in the league this season. He is a terrific collegiate player.
And the amount of winning Isaiah Miller has done in his career is most impressive. Let's send it over to the third member of our team, Aaron Summers. Aaron?
Thanks, Pete. Since Chattanooga got the win over UNC Greensboro just a week ago, head coach Lamont Paris said there weren't really many adjustments that the Mocs needed to make coming into this game. He said the biggest problem was having to wait an entire week to play anybody again, because they haven't had to do that all season long. We'll see who's ready to go with the ball tips.
Lamont Paris took over a team that was in need of a rebuild despite some recent success at Chattanooga. And, well, a couple of years ago, they managed barely to get to 10 wins on the season in 2018. They've gotten better each year, and here they arrive in Asheville, playing in the city for a second time this season, and well, with the record so far at 19-12. Earlier this year, they picked up a big December road win by 4 points across town at UNC Asheville. Mocs in the blue, Spartans in the gold. First try by Maurice Commander, no good, and UNCG will get the ball. Dickey, lengthy at 6'9". Lamont Paris over on that Chattanooga bench wanted the travel, but Dickey gives his team a 4-point lead.
You know, it's interesting. 2 years ago as a sophomore, James Dickey was the defensive player of the year. Now the last 2 years, it's been Isaiah Miller. So they've got the reigning defensive player of the year 3 years running in Greensboro.
Ryan from way outside, no good. And the rebound to UNCG. Let's send it back over to Aaron.
Coach Miller said that because they've had the defensive player of the year 3 years in a row, it's just a testament to what they can do on the defensive side of the ball, and it's helping with recruiting to have players that have had such success like Dickey and Miller have on their squad, because it makes people want to come there and play defense, lockdown defense like the Spartans like to do.
That's a great point, right? I mean, that's just how you grow your program. And when the players are helping to recruit others and they're selling the defensive end of things, makes a big difference.
Counted for Johnson, who'll go to the line. Commander halfway down the lane. Vila the rebound on the putback.
That is a big-time rebound right there by Vila.
And UNCG has gone better than 2 minutes without scoring, but a little bit of a rattle for Allegri. It goes down, and it's a 19-8 lead. The Mocs have managed all of 10 points. Let's send it over to Aaron.
Coach Paris was telling his Mocs that we have to find a way to handle UNCG's half-court pressure. He said, obviously, that starts with us making some shots. That will take it away immediately, and then we need to make sure that we are attacking the glass. We can't keep giving up these offensive rebounds.
That's the largest for the Spartans. Dooms, nice move.
The transfer from West Virginia has had increased minutes in the last 3 or 4 games. You mentioned earlier he's had some productivity. Looks very aggressive here tonight, and that's what's the Mocs just need somebody or a group of somebodies to step up on the offensive end. The old Dean Smith rule, and I'm sure Wes Miller, with that Carolina influence, embraces much of that. You'd like to have 2 timeouts in your back pocket in the last 4 minutes of a game.
Isaiah Miller with the right hand. Before the ball game tonight, as Hewitt fires from afar and it comes down to the Mocs' Rod Johnson, he said because they already knew going into last week's game against UNCG they'd be playing them a week later, that's just what they did. They tried all kinds of different things to see if they worked, trying to diagnose what plays may or may not work. And he said, you know, we pulled it off. We fell behind by 20 because we realized that it wouldn't be effective. Vila can't reverse. Dickey has a rebound. I think it's a really interesting way. I didn't get a chance to visit with Wes Miller, but I'm sure that was his mindset. But really, I'd never thought about that when you know you're playing a team again a week later.
How much do you show them, right? There's a lot of film out there already that late in the season.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Lamont Paris has been around great guys. He had great concepts. Oh, by the way, he's really fun to be around as well.
Yes, he is. Jonathan Scott picks up the personal. Isaiah Miller, a 9-point game so far. He is a talented player, and he loves the one-hander. Shot clock under 10. Maurice Commander. He'll fire with a man, and in front of him, Massey, and he knocks it down. Maurice Commander, a fellow who they really wanted to assume the role of their main point guard this year. That came along as the season went on. Shoots 31% beyond the arc. It's a 9-0 run.
I like Commander at the point guard slot. He has really become the point guard for this team. We saw him against Wofford several weeks ago. Boy, he was fantastic.
Dickey gets the roll, and a big answer by the 5th-year senior out of Raleigh. Makes 1 out of 2, and it's a 4-point game.
He's primarily a jump shooter, doesn't put it on the deck a whole lot.
Dickey's so long, count it, and he's fouled by Vila.
A lot like Greg Gary, doesn't show a ton of emotion, right? And even, you know, Bob Ritchie, Mark Prosser, some of these younger coaches, I mean, great bench decorum in this league. Many times you get to a mid-major, you got young coaches, and they're just crazy on the sidelines.
Hunter was way off balance on the miss for the tie. And the rebound by Miller. Look at the explosion. Allegri from the wing. Big swing right there. Just the 4th turnover in the game for UNCG. Commander gives it right back. Massey, 3 seconds, pulls up, knocks it down. And the UNCG Spartans do what they do, force a turnover, turn it into quick points. They'll head to the halftime locker room with a 7-point advantage. Look at that, the deflection right off of Commander. It was triggered nicely by the Spartans. Send it over to Aaron with Coach Wes Miller.
Coach, a 12-2 Mocs run closed the gap on this game. What do you need to do to regain control?
Well, they're good. I mean, I thought we played well to start. I thought we were really active defensively. We got our hands on a lot of balls, and they settled in. I thought our defense took a step back. And then I thought our execution did too. Like, we're best when we play with pace. We move the ball. Everybody's touching it. We got a little stagnant, but give them credit. They're jamming the inbounds, and we're not getting as much push coming up the court, so we have to adjust to that.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Wes Miller knows about winning in this tournament and advancing. His team, the runner-up a season ago, they were the champs in 2018. They led the entire first half. They're 20 minutes away from moving on to the semis for yet another year. UNCG up by 7 on Chattanooga. We have face painters in the building. UNCG making their fans happy so far, leading by 7, trying to move back into the semifinals for yet another year here at the Socon tournament. We welcome you back into Asheville. Hamilton Keener, Pete Hannity with you. The first half looked like it was going to be a runaway for UNCG. Ball Club is the number 3 seed that had just lost by 2 points to Chattanooga last week, but give the Mocs credit for hanging around.
They hung around. They actually had it within 1 possession, just couldn't get over the hump. but really it was about the D on both sides, right? Throughout the half, the Spartans were really good. Chattanooga, that's what got them back into it, and then they were able to make some shots.
UNCG on the attack, using the ability to defend to, let's just say, not only deny, but also score themselves.
Well, their D led to good offense. I mean, 6 steals. They had 18 points off of 11 Chattanooga turnovers, and they really knew how to finish that thing. But yeah, that's what the Spartans are known for, playing hard and defending. But for Chattanooga, right, they didn't give up, even though that last shot right there really was a dagger. They had a chance to turn things around. Chattanooga hung in there. They got points off the bench. In fact, 17 off the bench. Jonathan Scott, Reese Commander, and then finally A.J. Caldwell also hit a 3 to keep this within striking distance at 7 as we head to the second half.
Now, you noticed in looking, and we were talking about it off air, the numbers in the first half, if you look at that, well, Chattanooga looking pretty good. They, based on their field goal percentage, should be leading this game.
Yeah, you think, gosh, they shot 55%. Now, they didn't make a ton of threes, but they went to the free throw line more. They were even on the boards, right? You just think, oh my goodness, but obviously that doesn't bear out. The stats don't always prove the story.
Here's Aaron with Lamont Paris, the Chattanooga head coach.
Coach, you're shooting over 50%. How can you create more opportunities for your offense?
We turned the ball over a lot. You can't do that. They had 18 points off of turnovers, and they had 9 second chance points. There's 27 points out of their 42 that are in some way, shape, or form relatively unearned. So you got to do a better job of taking care of the ball. That's a big part of it. But the offensive rebounds, we've talked about that. We worked all week on it, obviously. But when the ball gets thrown up in the air, you got to go fight for it.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Lamont Paris' team will try to rally. David Jean-Baptiste looking to push on in his junior year. We come back after this. Jean-Baptiste, and reversing that time is Vila. He enjoys doing that as much as anything. Then the interception by Jean-Baptiste. 4 quick points. It's a 1-point game.
A little bit heavier pressure.
And speaking of pace, David Jean-Baptiste ahead of steam, and Vila delivering the jam.
Vila didn't have enough lift on that last one. It got blocked, but he did that time.
Traveling the call, they force an 8th turnover against the Spartans. Spartans led by as many as 14. Jean-Baptiste through the screen, and the reach-in foul is called. Benedict was about to call the foul, but it ends up going on Caleb Hunter. I think Benedict was going to call it on Galloway.
That is correct. As Hunter takes a breather, that was a nice mid-range pull-up. And he scored at all 3 levels here during this mini run by the Spartans. He had the 3, he had the putback right at the rim, and now the pull-up mid-range 14-footer.
Well, the PA said Hunter, but actually Langley. Look at that. Obviously, Galloway thought someone else was there to help. And Vila, building on his good night, pulls his team within 4. He's got 13.
Hanging around without Matt Ryan really being an offensive factor.
A runner by Miller comes up way short. Isaiah Miller has been stuck on 9 points for a long time. Vila corrals, scores, and he'll have a chance at a 3-point play.
Well, credit Vila for just running and working hard. Right? The first time he caught it off the inbounds, faked the whole team out, but then this time he just ran the floor. And when you do that, you generally get rewarded by the guards who are transporting the ball. That would have given him 25 wins, probably still not enough.
Ryan 4 on the shot clock, and it will go as a turnover. Let's send it over to Aaron.
In the UNCG huddle moments ago, Coach Miller was asking his Spartans to turn it up a notch. He said, let's really get after them. We didn't start the half very well at all. We need to be tough. We need to be who we are. We need to play defense.
That sounds like Wes Miller.
Very much so.
I can envision him saying
fire in his belly.
As Aaron told me, I was picturing the face of Wes Miller admonishing his team, and he is a guy who has as much intensity as any coach will find, and what a great job he's done. And Why don't we have Erin maybe tell us more about the Carolina connection?
Oh, does she know anything about Carolina?
Oh, no, I know nothing about Carolina. Thanks for calling me out, guys. I did go to school there. I actually went to school with Wes Miller at the same time, to date myself. But Miller said that one of the players on the court right now really reminds him of one of his teammates that he had at UNC, and that's Sean May. He said that May and Dickey really resemble each other in that regard, that they're both big men who really are other coaches on the court. He said they're great communicators. Dickey is really good about getting everybody where they need to be on the court.
Because they look like different players, certainly kind of different body types. And Vila, he's certainly been playing like, well, Sean May here for Chattanooga in the second half. A chance at a three-point play that would tie us up.
You know, stress as, you know, the higher seed coming in here as they've given up a lead.
A feed to Kenich. Works through two defenders. 4 straight points for the big fella from overseas, and a 4-point Chattanooga lead. Ramon Vila of the Mocs has simply been putting on a clinic for big man play.
Well, with great footwork and great anticipatory skills, I mean, he just has read the defense to a T. When the double team has come, he has fed teammates. When it hasn't, he has made great moves like that. He is the best in this league at using the rim to protect. When he doesn't have to, he can finish with a little bit of lift.
Pete Newell would be proud. Look at his work tonight. The effort, 14 second half points. And Vila getting a rest, 19 to lead all scorers. Aaron listened in moments ago to the Chattanooga huddle.
Let's see if I can paint the picture in this huddle for you, Pete. Coach Paris, very calm, cool, collected. He said, hey, the pressure's only going to go up from here, but that's okay. We have 7:45 left to go in this game. We know we have a timeout left. If things get a little bit too dicey, we can use it. It's there. But we got this. We're in a good position. Let's just keep playing tough, and let's keep making good decisions.
Trying to come from behind from a halftime deficit and having trailed 14 points earlier, and they forced another turnover. Jean-Baptiste, he's usually been good in opening round games of the Socon tourney, and he's doing his part tonight. He now has a dozen. Miller kicks it to Allegri. Out front, Langley. He'll fire. And a big-time answer for Keyshawn Langley, the co-freshman of the year.
And with just one timeout each way, neither coach wants to burn it.
Vila, Galloway trying to defend. Spinning. Can't get it to go, and Miller the rebound. Looking to push the pace, weaving through the Mocs. And he'll go to the line.
It's a nice luxury to have a guy like Matt Ryan with his size at 6'7" to be able to handle the ball, break pressure when needed.
David Jean-Baptiste, strong move to the hole, went right past Galloway, who's got to be careful because of his foul situation. Commander, 1.5 to go, less than that now. Jean-Baptiste with 3 on the shot clock. He averages 17.5 points a game in opening round Socon tourney contests, and Jean-Baptiste Trey gives him 19.
He was 41% behind New York last year, down at 35 this year, but put statistics aside, that's the biggest one he's made of the season.
And against the best defensive team in the league and the national leader in turnover margin, down 14 in the opening half, I would say a most improbable comeback for a decisive 77-68 quarterfinal victory.
A very impressive victory by Lamont Paris's group. He kept them focused. They didn't get rattled when they were down early in the first half. When they were down in the second half, they did what they needed to do on a night where Matt Ryan really wasn't at his best. But it doesn't matter. It's about surviving and advancing in tournament play. We've got a 6 versus a 7. And put that aside as well, it feels like a really, really competitive game.
So here's what Sunday will look like on the men's side. Our first semifinal. Be back with us at 4 p.m. for ETSU and Western Carolina. Then Wofford and Chattanooga. Terriers will try to avoid a 3-game sweep on the season against the Mocs. Western Carolina likewise against the Bucks. Some really good basketball here today. Uncg likely has an NIT bid coming their way. They finish this portion of their schedule at 23-9. Their senior class 104 wins to this stage in their careers. Chattanooga a 20-win season, yet another one in their proud basketball tradition. 20-12, they move on to the next round. Join us Sunday beginning at noon for the Women's Championship. UNCG and Sanford, then the men's semis after that. For Dean Keener and Aaron Summers, Pete Hannity saying so long. This has been a presentation of ESPN.